Hey everybody, this is Frank Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report. And today I'm talking about political correctness and how its impact on the working class. It was about an interesting article and it got me thinking. I read it, I think it was last week or something like that. And let me start this. You got to multitask doing this. The working class. You got the protected class out there, and they're considered a well-paid institution, if you will. They speak darkly when it comes to reversing years and years of social programs going back to Roosevelt, even further back before that. And they're saying that they're terrified that if these programs are reversed, what will the impact be on the bottom 95%? Will it wake up the people to this con job that the government, that the elitists have been putting us through? And they've been using political correctness as a weapon, weaponized political correctness. That's what we should call it. And they've been using this against the working class, against the middle class, us out there that have to work. We have to produce labor, and we do this so that we can earn a livelihood. But if you look at the shares of the national economy out there have been declining for over 46 years, ever since these progressive initiatives have been put in place. And so has the wealth. Where's the wealth ended up? Most of the wealth is ending up in the hands of the 1%, which should be alarming to you. Wage gains, have you seen those? They've been going down. But they haven't been going down for the technocrats out there, the managerial class out there. But for the working class, it has been. And what it is that the response that these elitists have given it is a big staggering. And this staggering decline in wealth and wages has suffered. And the people that are suffering are the people that are at the bottom 95%. And they're suffering, what they're using this weaponized political correctness almost as a tool, as a weapon against those people. If you look at the elitists, they've enjoyed numerous gains, enormous gains in wealth and income levels. And there's a problem, folks. What they have to do is they must fragment and distract us us 95% that are at the bottom. The people that have lost their incomes, have lost their jobs, have lost their wealth. All this to the elitists, the top 5%. And what will happen if the 95%, the bottom, they start to realize that they've lost this economic war, this undeclared economic war that they didn't even know existed because they were too busy watching reality TV, the Housewives of New York or whatever they're called. We have one more in common economic. If you look at it economically, all of us have more in common with the bottom 95% than we do with the elitist. And so what they've done is they've gone out and they've gotten this perfect weapon, political correctness, identity politics, all that good stuff out there. What a better way to fragment the working class and carve into it a cultural subclass that you can easily manipulate like puppets out there. You can declare wars that they don't even realize they're fighting. What a better way to mask the collapse of the working class. Think about it. Most of the 95% out there, they're distracted. You hear a lot of doublespeak out there about the empowerment that you'll get, the safe spaces, microaggression, all these progressive words out there that are being used out there to hide what's going on. And this article that I was reading was basically saying that this is the art of the great con, identity politics, political correctness. And isn't it ironic that the more wealth, the more income, and the more power that slipped through the fingers, our fingers, the more the elitists, our overlords, rely on social empowerment. Stuff like safe spaces on campuses, the substitute for the real political and economic agencies that are out there. Political correctness. The idea out there of using worthless speech, worthless acts about empowerment to the distracted working class. There's no amount of safe space and happy talk about empowerment that can replace the meaningful opportunities for economic security. Just remember that. For advancement. We're not seeing it out there. If you think about the protected class and the scarce for the unprotected 95% that have been sold down the river by these elitists, it's alarming. And a lot of them, the crazy thing is, aren't aware of it. If you set out to design a perfect tool to enforce this neo-feudalism, this political and economic dominance, you would choose this Orwellian process that they're going through, the agenda of cultural fragmentation, cultural conflict, because it undermines any class consciousness. You get that economic disempowerment. And this is why the elitists, the managerial class, the technocrats, as that article referred to them, is freaking out about somebody like Trump coming into office. The sense that a few have profited at the expense of many is an expression of an emergent class that is conscious that it has the potential to threaten the elitists, the neo-feudal dominance of the new nobility out there, which is essentially what they think they are, the noble ones, the technocrats. So when the protected class of these well-paid institutions, the progressive institutions out there, they get out there, they speak darkly of the reversing 40 years of social progress. What they're really saying is, we, the progressives, are terrified that the bottom 95%, us, the working class, might wake up someday. Like this article said, might wake up to the great con job that's going on there, with identity politics and political correctness. What say you? This has been Frankie Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report.